Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are excited to have back here today live and in person, besides on the podcast, also on Zoom, Carolann DeSelms. Pleasure to see you today and exciting to have you back here. You're a certified life mastery consultant and so much more, owner of your own company called Higher Vision Consulting. Please introduce yourself to your listeners today.
Okay, thanks, Jill. Hi, everybody. I am Carolann, and my business is called Higher Vision Consulting. I'm getting a new website called Beyond Enabling because I want to focus especially on women who have had struggles with abusive relationships and have said, enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I'm moving on. And I help support them in changing their lives and moving on to where they really want to be.
Beautiful. And where are you located specifically?
I am in Los Angeles, beautiful LA.
Perfect. And you work with people, though, all over the world. How can we reach out to you? Let's get your contact information off the top, please.
Yes. My phone number is 310-971-6575. And the website I'm using now can be used, but I'm not putting anything new on it, but it can tell you more about my background. And that is www.carolanndeselms.lifemasteryconsultant.com. Or you can go to my Facebook group page, and it just says Carolann DeSelms. I should have my name written down somewhere where I could show it.
Oh, no, I got it. It's Carolann, then DeSelms. Pleasure to have you here. And you're really helping people let go of pain, becoming more joyful, right? And to really master happiness in general. Would you mind sharing just a little bit about yourself before we begin for those new listeners today? What brought you into this field and what exactly does a life master consultant do?
Okay, so I was in this abusive relationship, and it took me 16 years to get out of it. Later on, but I still held feelings of anger and remorse that I stayed there so long and my poor child was in chaos. But then I discovered a support group, and I discovered also a spiritual group that helped me let go of all this past that was so painful. They helped me let go and discover what forgiveness means. And forgiveness doesn't mean saying it was okay you did all that. No, it is saying I let go of the chains that used to bind me. I no longer am keeping that. So we let the other person off the hook because we're on the other end of the hook. We don't want to stay in that. So that's one thing that I learned to do with the support. And then I began to realize that, wow, I have wonderful things in my life. We sometimes tend to hang on to, oh no, this, oh no, that, oh, it was so terrible. I don't know why we do that. Maybe it's because we don't have a plan for our future. And so I help people with a vision of what would you love? What would you like to be doing right now? I'll just ask everyone right now. Right now, where would you like to be? Who would you like to be with? And what would you like to be doing? And you begin to see that when you focus on what you want, it's more likely to show up. And you're going to be going to places where the right people will be, for example.
Wow. Well, thank you. And so the types of people you're working with, what are some of the key factors, to what you can do, what you can bring to their lives, what they're learning about themselves? Could you give us some examples?
Yes. One of them is, what's the difference between helping and being a codependent or an enabler. And that means that you are focused on somebody else, fixing them. And when you're focused on someone else and fixing them, you're bound to lose, because that's not your job. Your job is to love yourself and then do what you need to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really nobody else's business is your business, really. The other person, you may wish the very best for them, but you cannot decide another person's life. That's theirs to do. And when I started focusing on what I wanted and what I needed to do for me, I became more confident, a little more courageous, and even more compassionate towards this addict
Yeah.
who I was trying to make in my image, what
Mm-hmm.
I thought. And that's not my job.
Yeah.
So we need to be able to, and I think as women often we're told, you know, you got to take care of everybody. You got to fix everything. You got to make everybody happy. Well, first of all, you have to make yourself happy. When you're
Mm-hmm.
happy, you're going to be nicer to other people because you're nicer to yourself.
Yeah.
And other people will notice that, and they'll begin to look at themselves. What do I need to do? So loving someone is not fixing them. Loving someone is say, can I help you make your life better?
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean, and you should do this and you should do that. No, it means, how can I help you? And if I can't help you, Godspeed.
Wonderful. Well, it's a pleasure knowing you're here to help so many people. And I know we've had some great conversations in the past, and we'll continue to do so today. Again, group coaching, individual coaching. And let me ask you, since this is our first together here on the Zoom, right? Is there
Yeah.
something in particular, I don't want to repeat myself, but what in particular did you want to share? Because we did cover a lot on the radio portion. I just want to know what you want to speak about today in particular.
The two key things for me are gratitude
Okay.
and forgiveness.
Well, let's start with that. Yeah. What is gratitude and how can we help someone with that? What are some things we could do to be grateful? Explain that if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. In fact, I have a little handout that I give to people about 4 gifts you can give yourself each day. And the first one is making a gratitude list.
Mm-hmm.
When I get up in the morning, I don't think, oh no, I forgot. I have to do this. I have to do that. No, I wake up in the morning and I say, I am grateful that I have a comfortable bed. I am grateful that I have a house that's pretty clean. I've been taking care of it. I am grateful that I have a quiet neighborhood to live in. And not everybody does. So I begin to looking at the things that I love, and I have a list of 5 to 10 things that I'm grateful for. And it doesn't have to be some huge thing. It can be, I'm grateful that the guy across the street finally mowed his lawn. It looks so much better. Or I'm grateful that I can have peanut butter and jelly today. Or any little things. I am grateful that my daughter smiled at me yesterday and gave me a hug.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be all kinds of things. I washed my car Tuesday and it looks so beautiful. So I'm grateful that I could wash my car.
Yeah. It's true.
That's so that if you have that, you're not going to be spending your time thinking about how horrible the world is, how difficult everything is, inflation, oh my gosh. No, don't worry about those. One of the other things that's important is your thoughts. Where your thoughts go is where your energy flows. So if your thoughts are all on, oh, all the problems and I can't fix them all, then you're not going to be happy.
Yeah.
You're inviting. Oh, you want more problems? I'll tell you more problems, says your subconscious mind. No, you're inviting unpleasant things. So don't do that. Instead, look around you and say, how beautiful my life is, even if it's just a little flower that you found outside.
Yeah.
Um, and so you go from there. Okay, maybe I can't go out and buy a steak dinner tonight, but I can think about what can I make that's absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
So you're setting yourself up for a joyful day when you're thinking about things you're grateful for. You begin to see, wait a minute, I'm not so bad off after all. I have a place to live.
Got it. You're right. To wake up each day, even like, I have young children, 5 and 7, but to wake up every day and give thanks and gratitude. I try to tell them just a simple good morning and, thank you for waking up on this beautiful day. Thank you for letting me
Yeah.
be here, and no matter what denomination,
Yes.
nationality you are and who you pray to, just thank the Lord, thank whoever your greater being is, just the world in general. So they do the thank you for being here. And at night, we say one positive affirmation at night too about what we're thankful for the day. That's being
Oh,
grateful, right?
abs
Okay, good.
absolutely. Absolutely. I have another little thing that I like to do that helps you keep on the positive
Sure.
path. It is every morning, think about something that you can give to someone else that will make them feel good. And
Okay.
that might be just a smile. If you go to the store, smile at the clerk. It might be, well, sometimes I leave papers around. And so I get them in order before John comes home. So he'll feel like, oh, she's thinking of me because we've talked about that. So, or I just add something to the salad that I know he likes.
Yeah.
So it can be any kind, it doesn't have to have anything to do with money at all. It can be, it's your attitude towards yourself and others. So, yes. So where were we? Anyway,
Backtrack.
being
Yes. Grateful.
grateful
Yep.
is important. Yeah. And it keeps you out of feeling so incapable. Many times we can't fix other people, and we can't fix all the problems in the world, but we can make our little corner of the world more pleasant
Yeah.
by being pleasant ourselves.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's be present. So gratitude. And what was the other one?
Being able to forgive, even
The
you
art
don't
of forgiveness. Is that what we can call it?
a what?
The art of forgiveness. It'd be nice to learn
Yes,
the art of forgiveness. What is forgiveness?
yes. Forgiveness is saying, I am not holding you and my anger in my heart. I am not holding you and my anger in my heart. All people are good. Now, I'm not their behavior always, but all of us have a heart and mind, and all of us have desires and longings. But some of us, if we don't have what we want, some of us are not capable of, or we're capable, but we're not able right now
Mm-hmm.
to be able to roll with the punches, as it were, and be able to move on. So, so those people can be problematic. But it's their behavior.
Yeah.
So we love everyone, and what a wonderful thing in this country. We have so many cultures and wonderful cultural practices to learn from. We're just blessed with
Yeah.
amazing things to learn. So feel blessed instead of stressed. And that's when you forgive others and say, I am not holding those chains that used to bind me to you. I'm letting those go and I'm blessing you. may you be well, may you be happy. Those are two little sentences you can say to others whom you're mad at.
Yes.
I don't want to invite you to dinner, but may you be well and may you be happy.
Yeah.
And that releases you from feeling regret and anger and resentment. And regret, anger, and resentment also get into your cellular makeup. You know, our thoughts and our feelings are go into our physical makeup, and we know that because have you ever seen anybody get angry? And my father used to his neck would the veins in his neck would stand out and he'd turn red.
Yeah.
That means his anger was messing with his body. And so when we do those negative things, we're doing unkind things to our body. We're causing destruction at a cellular level. We know this is true today because of quantum physics and some other kinds of science. But but we also know that because we feel the feelings, and we can feel the blood rushing to our face when we're embarrassed.
Yeah.
When you think about you lost your keys,
Yeah.
how do you feel? Now you can feel yourself, you can feel your body. I've lost my keys.
Yeah.
You're uptight, and that's literally uptight. You're squeezing your veins, it's physical. But when you see someone you love and you're so happy to see them, your body contracts and you get relaxed. And that, again, that's good for your body. So when we think positively, and when we're able to say, I'm sorry, maybe I said something that you felt bad about, then we're making everything better.
Yeah.
So please, everyone, be good to yourself first. I like to go back to the thing they say on the airplane when they say, if there's a problem and the what is it, the air thing, you have to put that over your face. Do it for yourself first, then help the others. Because if you're if you're passing out, you can't help.
I know. That's what they always say. It's true. You got to fill up your own cup in a sense, right? Put that oxygen mask on first. And, but it's always easier said than done. But can I ask you one thing? People say about forgiveness, I can forgive, but not forget. How does that fit into the art of forgiveness in a sense?
Okay. Yes, it's okay to not forget, but don't dwell on something. If I'm not going to forget, it means to be healthy. It means I'm not going to do that kind of thing. Now, sometimes we say, well, it's all that guy's fault. Well, it's hard to admit this, but actually, our lives are not done to us. We live our lives with our participation. So if the guy on the freeway cuts me off, he's not doing that to me. He probably didn't, maybe he didn't even see me, so it's not other people's faults. So when I don't forget, I remember, how did I allow that to escalate? Was I able, can I learn something so things don't escalate? I remember when I was first divorced, my ex-husband would call me constantly and just say terrible things. And I learned to have a stock answer. And the answer was, I'm sorry you feel that way. And he didn't know what to say next. So it just ruined he had to hang up because there was no way to start an argument. I'm sorry you feel that way. Or the other sentence, oh, you could be right. Oh, you could be right. you're a dummy, you're a this and that. You could be right. And that just stops the argument. There is no argument.
Yes, yes.
So you can use that, and but not forgetting means I realize that this kind of thing is not healthful, not life-giving, and so I'll be sure I won't do that anymore. When we get into arguments, it's two people, so there are two sides
Takes
to every
two to
story.
tango, as they say,
Yeah,
right?
right, right, exactly.
Oh, wow. Carolann DeSelms, if you're just tuning in here, she's a life mastery consultant. And we're talking about the ways, obviously, she can help you in so many different ways. And clearly, mindset is very important to your work and how you were talking about gratitude today, forgiveness. But what about just the mindset in general? Could you share a little bit about what that is and how maybe we can improve that?
Sure. Yes. Your mindset means your attitude, basically. What is your attitude toward life? And you can start with, we live in an abundant universe. It is the universal principles tell us, and you might call the universal principles God, but they tell us that you can have what you would love. You can
Yeah.
have it. But it's, you don't sit there and go, okay, give me everything I want. No, you begin to, again, with gratitude and believe that life is good.
Okay.
A lot of times we want to say life sucks. Well, that's one of those
Mm-hmm.
pits that you fall into, and we all do that, and we always do. But
Sure.
the key is to pivot around that and say, okay, I lost my job. Now, what can I do? Well, I can go look for something better instead of sitting around and feeling bad for myself. So, um, so we want to, the mindset is there is always a possibility of something better, always. And
Yeah.
we can move. I saw someone, I think he's an athlete the other day, and he said he grew up in LA where sometimes they would buy one hamburger and cut it into 4 pieces for
Oh,
dinner was when he was growing up. But then he said, you know what? I don't want to live like this. I want to do something about this. So he set his mind into learning, being curious about what can I do? And today he's uh, I know who I'm thinking about. It was somebody on the Shark Tank the other day.
ah,
He said, I made this special tape, but now he's in a stuck position. But he went to the sharks, and the sharks said, sell your business. You sell
oh
your
my
business and
gosh.
start another one. You obviously are have an entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah.
Let's make something beautiful or useful. And so at the end of his interview, he said, I'm going to do what they told me to do. I am going to sell my business, and I'm going to start another one that is
Wow.
going to work better. So that's the open. I'm open and ready for something good for me. That's the open mindset that will lead you in the right direction. And also thinking about yourself, not what your mother told you to do, not what the neighbor told you to do, not what the teacher told you to do. Ask yourself, what is it I would love to do? What is the purpose for me? And we all have a
Mm-hmm.
purpose. And you know when you feel good about doing something that you're in the right track. I my aptitude tests when I was in high school were always about science. I didn't science. Well, I ended up as a language teacher and looking at language from a linguistic point of view. So I had a little bit of that science there. But what I love is playing with language. So, so you need to look at the beginnings of your idea and then keep working on it until you find the little niche that makes you feel so good that you can do whatever that is.
Wow. Thank you for being here. Would you mind sharing your best form and all forms of contact with us today?
I don't mind that at all. I am Carolann, and it's Carolann DeSelms on Facebook. It is, my number is 310-971-6575, my telephone number. And my email at the present, and I'll always keep this email, is C for Carolann and then DeSelms. So CDESELMS06@gmail.com.
Right.
And that's really a good place to find me. And then my old website right now, Carolann DeSelms Life Mastery Consultant. And a life mastery consultant is a transformational coach.
Yeah.
Someone who will help you, support you through classes and things that you do together.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate your time here, and thank you for joining us. And to all of our viewers and listeners, we appreciate you as well. Looking forward again to the next time we get to speak.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.